Oh, well, hey, Molly. Good evening. Good golly, Miss Molly. Welcome, everybody. Christian, my friend, how are you?
Top. A1.
Cool. I wanted to play that little clip there, and I know you'll appreciate it. That is the opening to Auberge, as played at a gig in 1994. Hey, Joe, thanks for joining, buddy. That's Joe's,
Hey, Joe.
who is open about his lack of, doesn't know much about Chris Rea. That's Chris Rea, right there. That's the guy that just played that beautiful shit there. Yeah, you and I both have an appreciation for the Auberge album. That's one of the live versions that he plays where he does this fantastic bit of intro guitar and then the steel guitar. But anyway, welcome everybody. This is a one-off kind of, we do, you and me and Joe, we do these, what I'm now calling It's Only Rock and Roll bonus tracks.
I like it.
Not bad, eh? We're doing
Very
those.
clever.
It is. On the acts that probably we don't want to do in the Monday show because all the metal heads we hang out with are not quite as up to speed.
They cringe. They cringe.
They do. And we are here to talk about today one of my all-time beloved artists, or has been for 40 plus years, 45 years since I heard his first hit single, guy called Chris Rea, Christopher Anton Rea, descended from half Irish, half Italian, not at all a volatile mix in any way. He is just one of these guys that you cannot pigeonhole this guy. And we're going to get into that. And we've both got some songs we want to talk about. And if the YouTube gods avoid us, we're going to play a little bit of music, please, please, please. So welcome, Joe. Welcome, Davina. Welcome, E. Clay Thomason. Thank you all for being here. It's probably going to be a small and intimate crowd, but we don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Do we?
We're good.
We're good. Just before I forget, I don't want to forget, but that clip, I found along with a lot of other really great stuff on this YouTube channel, LilyB06. So credit is due to this wonderful channel with an enormous collection of Chris Rea clips, live stuff I'd never seen before, television clips, interviews, you name it. So thank you to LilyB06 for having a great channel, which I have subscribed to. And I would urge everybody else to, and just dig into that wonderful library that's been built on that channel. Just incredibly wonderful stuff. So thanks to that person. Chris Rea then, a lot of, I don't know what your experience is, a lot of North Americans are not quite as up to speed with this guy. Definitely bigger known in Europe and the UK. Did have a couple of hits in America though. The Road to Hell, Fool If You Think It's Over. Never toured in North America though.
No.
Never did it. No, played on TV, did stuff like that. Never toured. Possibly contributing to that lack of awareness. Certainly his music videos got played a lot, but. I guess that he said he didn't want to tour North America or indeed anywhere far away from home because he didn't want to be separated from his wife and kids for too long.
Ah, okay.
And then, of course, he got quite ill. Now, he is known as one of rock's great survivors because, and I have a really nice interview clip from him from Christmas. Basically, he's got nothing left inside. They've taken everything out, but he's still the poor guy is he's still going. So fair play to him. Yeah, born in
Middlesex.
Born and brought up in Middlesbrough on the River Tees in the north of Yorkshire, in the north of England. Industrial town. It's the same old story with a lot of these British guys. Industrial town. I guess it's similar to a Springsteen figure as well, steel town. Very heavy industry, working class, blue collar, music was an escape and a way out of that stuff. But that environment still informs his music to this day. I don't know how would you describe him as an artist? I've been trying to think about this one.
I have two things come to mind. The first one, he's a musician's musician because
Mm,
everybody who knows about music knows about this guy, but not a lot of people know of this guy. He's almost like the Jeff Beck of adult contemporary. Excuse my English. And the other thing, excuse me, to quote our friend Joe in the chat, he's a adult version, adult lyrics, adult
mm.
music. It's not popish, it's not hip, it's not how can I say, it ages well. It's a music for every time. So I would say he's a musician's musician. That would be my best thing.
That's a great comparison to make, and it's funny you mentioned Jeff Beck, and I didn't put you up to mentioning Jeff Beck. It just happened.
Now, I was sleeping during that stream. I'm not trying to make up at all.
He actually his there's a similar thing going on in that they're musicians, but also Max Middleton of the Jeff Beck band, who was Jeff Beck's piano and keyboard player on a number of his key albums in the 70s, is also Chris Rea's piano and keyboard player
Oh,
for
nice.
many years. Wrote some songs with him, played live with him for many years, and played piano and keyboards on lots of his best albums. So there was a Jeff Beck connection through Max Middleton, funnily enough. And obviously Middleton chooses to work with guys like this.
And another connection that both of those guys have is their blues influence. Jeff Beck,
Yeah.
you could hear it in his music, and him, one of his first albums, I think, was a Muddy Waters or something that he heard from
Yes.
when he was a kid. So blues is something really deep in these two guys. But
It's that British blues thing. It's the weirdest thing where these guys just kind of soaked up that music from here he is in the River Tees, dirty old English industrial river, and he's playing stuff from the Mississippi River, like the other Brits. But he actually, and again, yeah. So Joe's making a great point about the not interested in charting. I think, as Chris Rea would happily admit, he wanted to be a pop star, but he wasn't really cut out for it. He certainly didn't look like it most of the time. He had a period where he kind of looked a bit like it, and that's been one of his issues with his career is contention with the record company and what they wanted of him as a pop star, and him wanting to play blues and jazz and rootsy stuff. And to be fair, he likes a good pop tune too. He's not against it. So in terms of styles, I mean, he's got some pop classics. He's got beautiful ballads. He's got raunchy rock numbers. He's got blues. He makes jazz albums. He does Philadelphia style R&B. There's very little. He's got heartbreaking ballads. The man's a phenomenal writer of tear-jerking ballads and sings them so well with it. Again, I don't know how you would describe his voice.
Well, first of all, it's a deep voice, and he says he decided to use his deep voice instead of trying to sing high. And I watched a few of his interviews in preparation to this, and he says he comes from the Van Morrison school, where he can have some of the deepest, heartfelt ballads, and then turn around and have something simple for 3 minutes, which is a pop hit. And he looks up. He says he looked up to Van Morrison. He's from that school, he says.
Which is difficult because Van Morrison's really short. So it's hard.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding.
Dad jokes are funny.
They're both Irish as well, kind of. So, so Davina makes the Dire Straits comparison. I would have to say that there is a number of years in the 80s where that comparison would be very valid. There is a lot of similarity between him and Mark Knopfler in playing. Similar backgrounds, although Mark Knopfler's from Newcastle, a bit further north. There's a certain adult pop sound that they could both do. It used to be a standing joke in Britain that if Chris Rea and Dire Straits formed a band together, it would be called Chris Straits because the alternative wouldn't be pretty. But it was
Diarrhea.
Yeah. So I think it's a fair comparison. I think there's a very, particularly not so much to Dire Straits as a band, but Martin Knopfler as a musician. Both equally good guitarists in different styles of guitar playing.
And great songwriters.
Great songwriters, yeah. I think it's an accident of timing and birth rather than a deliberate attempt to sound like each other. They've come from the same influences. They've got similar voices in some ways. I think Chris Rea's voice is a bit smokier, a bit darker. But they both live the same rootsy influences. So I think it's a fair comparison. But I think if I looked at Dire Straits and looked at Chris Rea's material, there's also stuff that he does that would not have been in Dire Straits, particularly some of the New Orleans influenced jazz and blues stuff that he does now. But his voice is that kind of gruff, smoky, but also extremely emotional thing. I mean, you know the album that we both love, Auberge. I mean, the emotion he carries in that voice is just phenomenal. That's not him, that's Jeff Beck, but sitting at the keyboard there is Max Middleton, who I've seen playing with Chris Rea. I never saw him with Jeff Beck. So I did see him live, and he was wonderful. This is a neat picture. It's him in his red Stratocaster Pinky, as he calls it. Although I don't think it was meant to be red. I think it was actually orange, and for some reason it's ended up red. He's got a whole story behind it. It's one of these guitars, and I do have an article about others. And this is probably him in more of his pop star mode, around a la On the Beach, which was a bit of a hit. Trying to do what the record company wanted. Go out there and show them your body in the videos.
Which he fought surprisingly for an artist, and he started late. He started when he was 22 into music. And for an artist, he fought against his record company, and he fought and he fought and he fought to the point where the record company are almost like, okay, my man, you're more trouble than you're worth. And they almost got rid of him. And it's not until he went to a neighboring, but just to show the point was, he was so passionate about his music and his sound. I will not wear this. I will not play this. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to do, which gave him long-lasting career. So good on him for fighting for what he believed.
Absolutely. He didn't really want to compromise. And it's not that, as they say, it's not that he didn't want to be a pop star. He just really wasn't cut out for it.
Right.
Because everybody likes a hit. Everyone likes big hits, in fact. We all like
yes.
So Joe's atmosphere, you don't have to do this, Joe, buddy. Jeez, what a man. Tip $5. This Chris guy sounds great. Have a great stream, fellas. Well, hopefully we'll get you to go away and listen to some of Chris Rea. And there's a lot to choose from in 55 years material. And there's me again biting off more than I could chew, saying, yeah, let's do a show about Chris Rea. I'll pick 10 songs I like.
Well, the premise was good. 10 songs was good. The only thing is you cannot have a 1-2 hour stream about a 50-year career. That's the only problem.
So what I think we would see today is a kind of a taster for people.
An intro. And we got Joe hooked. We got Joe hooked.
Davina's hooked. I don't know if we can hook others, but we'll try.
Yes.
We have Joe Hook and Dr. Hook.
Yes.
So I'm wearing a special T-shirt though. I don't have a Chris Rea T-shirt, but one of his major influences is Joe Walsh. So in his honor, I've put my Joe Walsh T-shirt on.
Oh, nice. I love Joe Walsh. That guy is great.
So yeah, Joe Walsh is one of his guitar influences. I think he would probably quote Lowell George and Ry Cooder and guys like that too. Because he likes the rootsy stuff, and a little bit of Stones thrown in, stuff like that. So,
a future bonus track idea, Ry Cooder.
Oh well,
Joe.
we mentioned him on Southern Comfort the other day. I thought that would be a good guy to do someday.
Oh yeah, I'm in with that guy.
Yeah, again, we'll have to
Speak.
try and restrict it to a certain, because we could be there all day.
Oh, absolutely. Him, guys like him, JJ Cale, and all these awesome musicians that were always in the background influencing Eric Clapton, Jimmy
Mm.
Page, and all these guys. Like, wow, these guys were giants amongst giants. Nobody ever heard of them.
Well, indeed. So, yeah, just mentioning these guitars, I found this great article about them. His father, actually, this is true. There's some biographical stuff here I'd forgotten about. He talks about it in some interviews. His father owned an ice cream factory.
Yes.
Now, I bet he was sick of ice cream by the time he grew up. He ran 21 cafes and worked for his dad. He's a natural left-hander, but decided to play right-handed.
Mm.
And
Jimi Hendrix backwards.
yeah, Wilco Johnson of Dr. Feelgood was the same, left-hander that played right-handed because everybody else did.
Ah,
It kind
okay.
of gives you a weird
Ah,
style then. There's an edge that others don't have then.
right.
He was in a band called Magdalene, I remember this, who became the Beautiful Losers, and David Coverdale was their original singer.
Mm.
Although I think he joined after Coverdale left, and which he was. That's why he became a singer, because this band said, "Well, we need someone to sing." Okay, I'll do it then, kind of thing. So, and then they got a recording deal, and he got a solo deal, with Magnet Records, which came along with Gus Dudgeon as a producer, which we're going to talk about a little later as well. And then 1978, biggest his first album, and we're going to talk about this song later, Fool If You Think It's Over, on an album called Whatever Happened to Benny Santini. That was his first album. And that, again, was the start of his struggles with the record company because they wanted him to change his name.
Ah.
Benny Santini. Because they said, well, Chris Rea is not the name of a pop star. He can't be called Chris Rea. So they called the album Whatever Happened to Benny Santini. But there's his Fender Stratocaster Pinky. And I do have this video clip here, but I won't play it from here. I've got it downloaded, where he talks about this guitar. But it used to be candy red, and it somehow is kind of looking pink now with orange bits in it. But he does play. He likes his Strats. He does play steel guitars a lot as well, and slide guitars. He likes his Stratocaster Bluey. Now, when I saw him live, you knew when he was going to play a ballad or a quieter song because he'd put the blue guitar on. And when he was going to play a rock one, he'd put the red one back on.
Ah, okay.
Change guitar. So it was ballad coming.
Where did you see him? Where did you see him live?
I saw him in Glasgow at the Scottish Exhibition Centre in Glasgow. And I think it was on... was it the Auberge? It might have been on the Auberge tour, actually. I think it was on the Auberge tour. It's 1993, 94-ish. But he's got a few others that he plays, some quite interesting ones. Mainly a Fender guy, though, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an interesting little article. Hopefully, if we've got a little time, we'll play some of those. I wanted to start, though, by playing, with your indulgence, sir.
Of course, please.
Now, there's a show in the UK, which I've seen some episodes of, called Paul Whitehouse and Bob Mortimer, and they're British comedians that were in a show called The Fast Show and various other shows. Very funny guys, but they do this show called Paul Go Fishing. And it's just two old comedians chatting about life. But anyway, the Christmas special they just did, they did a short clip where they interviewed Chris Rea, who I think might have been on the fishing show as well.
Okay.
And really they wanted to talk a little bit about Driving Home for Christmas, his big Christmas song, which I absolutely adore. So I'm going to call that up. And it talks a little bit to his health issues, shall we say.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of background on that. So forgive me while I just fire up the engines. Good. I'm going to fire up the engines here. This is the one here, I believe.
Hey, Chris. Thank you for coming up. Because you're a borough
He
lad
doesn't
as well,
look
yeah?
too good these days.
Do you remember it fondly?
I just thought I'd drive home for
Chris.
I was on the door when I wrote that.
Really?
Yeah. I'd just been, my manager just left me. I'd just been banned from driving.
Right.
My now wife, Joan, she had to drive down to London, pick me up in the Mini,
Yeah.
and take me home.
Right.
And that's when I wrote it.
What do you think when you hear it? You must hear it all the time.
I think of that lovely little holiday in the Maldives.
That it got you.
That's what I love that. So, what do you think when you hear driving home for Christmas? I think of that holiday in the Maldives that paid for.
Yeah, I'm not a very good pop star. I wish I was.
You're not very pop star, are you?
I'd like to be. You know, when I look at Sting and people like that.
Sander, I can't fix the echo. I've tried everything. I've contacted Mel and
Christmas?
I can't get rid of it.
I love it.
You love it?
Sorry, mate.
This year's Christmas, what will it look like?
Big Christmas tree,
Yeah.
candles on the table, sprinklings of stars on the tablecloth,
Yeah.
and a fine assortment of wines for Christmas.
Right. Because Paul's a little bit cynical about it.
But he's cynical about everything.
Yeah, Cockney, cynical Cockney.
Be afraid.
He's arrived. Is this incredible, isn't it? It's just Mr. Rea. I know, it's amazing. Do you know what? I tell you what, Chris, the personal thing for me is, I remember being in my bedroom and there was an interview on you. It was really important because I thought, there's a bloke, he's on the radio, he's got a record out and he's from Middlesbrough. It wasn't that, I thought, maybe anything can happen. Chris, when we're fishing, we always go on about our health, don't we?
Oh, we do.
But you're a walking miracle, aren't you, really? Tell us what your health was to be.
1994. Most incredibly successful year. Bing, abscess on colon,
Right.
colostomy bag, they took away the pancreas, the duodenum, the gallbladder, and the left quadrant of the liver. All gone. That took me, well, I have never really got over it, you know. Type 1 diabetic. I have to take 34 pills every day. And then, after all that,
What's happening now?
kidneys gone.
What bit of you functions? But it'd be easier to see
What
what you've got left.
Well, I can link into you boys now. I got a very good heart. Yeah.
Excellent.
I think. What's up?
I found, I know it's not the same thing, but I found that journey of recovery made me incredibly close to my wife.
Big one for me, that's well, exactly the same, Bob. I'm still in hospital, and the post-op pancreas nurse comes in, and she went, Chris, it's not grade 3 cancer.
Right.
Phone your wife. So I phoned her. She pulled the car over, burst into tears. So she got all the money, she got all the rights to all the songs. She won't give me them back. I'm going.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much for popping in. That's amazing.
You're driving home?
Bob, you don't seem very happy. No. You don't seem a bit down.
This is funny.
What about if they like to subscribe to Bob and Paul's YouTube channel? Would that cheer you up a bit?
Yeah, that would help a bit.
A little bit, yeah. Well, there you go then. See if you can cheer Bob up a little bit by liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel.
I might even get out of bed.
That's so. I'm sorry, guys, about this. I don't hear the echo, and I've been spending 3 days trying to fix an echo that I can't hear. Melon can't help me. No one can help me. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to fix it. And if I can't hear it, I can't fix it myself either. So
70s will help you. We'll help you, 70s. We won't complain about the echo.
Well, everyone keeps telling me, and I keep telling everybody, all I can do is apologize because I have tried everything, including speaking to Melon's support about fixing it, and no one knows what it is. And I've destroyed my audio settings today and rebuilt them 3 times, and it clearly hasn't made any difference. Now, am I echoing now? I don't know.
No, you are not. It was just during the video it was echoing.
Yeah.
But again, no big deal. We still heard it.
So, hey, buddy, Canadian Spider-Man. Good to see you.
Hey, Canadian Spider-Man.
Yeah. So I know it was hard to understand his accent there. Even as a Scotsman, I found that hard to understand. But what comes across is that A, that he's got a great sense of humor, that B, he's got very few internal organs left,
Yes.
and that C, his wife has all the rights to his songs and she won't give them back to him because she thought he was going to die.
But you know what? As a Canadian, I've noticed by watching and meeting people from Great Britain and all that, the people from the North are a lot more fun to be around than the people from the South. There's something about the British upper lip. It rules in the South, but people from the North, they're happy, they're friendly, they're joking around. I just found that was a cultural thing in Britain. People from the North.
That's right. He's a Northerner, and it very much informs his music. And I think you could tell a little bit there that he says, "I wish I was Sting," but I'm not. His career was going really well in the early 90s. He had The Road to Hell, Auberge, double platinum, 6 times platinum album in the UK, number of hit singles, On the Beach, stuff like that was going really well. And then bang, all this illness kicked in, and he lost all that stuff. And he's never really recovered. Now, he continued to tour, but his last tour, he has a series of strokes now.
Oh,
he couldn't finish the last tour, so really he's pretty much just having to sit in his home studio now and just do stuff. And he owns his own record label, Jazzy Blue, and produces blues and albums and whatever. I don't think we're ever going to see him tour again. It's nice to see he can at least get out and chat to people and whatever. So, but let's talk about some of the songs then. So yeah, D-Bud Martin's hysterical. You know some other YouTube boomers. Look, honestly, we'll conquer this echo thing someday. The symptoms are I share a video with audio in it on Melon. Everyone else hears me echoing when I talk. I don't hear me echoing. I don't hear you echoing. As soon as I stop sharing that with audio, video with audio, it finishes. Trust me, I destroyed this laptop today and rebuilt it, and I still can't get rid of it. So at first we said, I think we talked about, we'll do a top 10 of songs. Well, I'd written 30 down before I realized that was going to be a problem. And then I kept swapping them around. So I'm not going to call it a top 10. I'm going to call it a sampler of our favorite Chris Rea song to give people an idea of what this guy is all about.
Okay.
Does that sound good to you, mate?
Your show, I'm all good. I'm in heaven here. We're talking Chris Rea.
Oh, Heaven music. Is a great song, but it's not in my top 10.
Okay.
But it's a good song.
All right.
So I'll kick off with, I'm going to go for the obvious hit, which is The Road to Hell.
Okay.
As my 10th one.
I got the same one too. Road to Hell Part 1 and 2 was my number 10.
And it is in 2 parts. It's a song on the album that is in 2 parts. Just let me call up some visuals to do, and then we'll play a little bit of the music and hopefully get away with it.
And on Spotify, they put them all together. They remastered it in 2008 on Spotify, and I got Part 1 and 2. It's a whole song.
Yeah, it is. And then he made a second album, which confusingly was called The Road to Hell Part 2, which just confuses me. Don't do this to me, So the front cover of the album, Road to Hell, I think it's fairly famous. It was a big MTV video hit, a big hit in America, worldwide, pretty big hit. And to me, had to really include the song. I wouldn't say it's necessarily one of my favorite songs of his. In terms of the top 5, it's not like right up there. I think maybe over familiarity a little bit because it was the hit. But it's still an important song, and it was a very different album for him. in that he and I've got a little interview clip where he talks about it. It was basically his Black Pill album, where he saw stuff on the news and he just went, "Oh, the world is really in a shitty place." Because normally he's fairly upbeat, other than a really teary ballad. And of course, after this, he decided to back off that and went auberge and on the beach and stuff like that. But the song itself is significant. It is a good rocker with a driving beat. He does showcase his great slide guitar on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and the album, as you say, parts 1 and 2. This part 1 is really a very slow intro, and then it kicks into the drum beat. This album does have some fantastic songs. I think this is the only one I've got in the 10 I'm going to talk about today. But that last song, Tell Me There's a Heaven, which is basically kids asking, why is everything so horrible in the news? It's a bit of a tearjerker. But I also like Texas, which is all about being in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So let's play, and I'll try not to talk so there's no echo of me talking.
What if we mute our mics? Would that kill the echo?
It doesn't seem to make any but we can do that. But in order to play stuff on YouTube, sometimes you won't have to talk over it. But I can't do that. Everyone complains about me echoing. So
got it.
So let's. I know it can be fixed by someone muting me, but I can't mute myself on the pictures down the left hand side. I could click on a mute mic button and mute you. I can't do that to myself.
You know what? That sounds like an executive producer problem. Davina,
Davina
come on in
and fix me. Or Eric, because he fixes all these things.
Well, Eric K, not like he's got lots to do or anything.
Right.
That guy's everywhere.
So if we get taken down my YouTube, forgive me, but we're going to try playing some music. This is Road to Hell Part 2 from 2006. Snowed up.
No echoes. Nothing at all. See, that's the rocking part that I like. Jeff Beck?
That is not Max Middleton, no.
Okay.
No, he's a much older guy than that.
Okay.
So we get the gist before YouTube cuts us down.
Yes.
Flip forward to some guitar.
Nice guitar.
Anyway.
Very good. Very good.
His
very good.
One of his biggest hits, big hit in the US. I did want to play this little interview of him talking just a little bit the ethos of the album. We didn't get taken down for playing that, so
nope. Touch wood.
We may be in the neck. So interview video. So this is a little thing of it's very short clip. What's here? I got it on this. Sorry, wrong screen. Let me just Where's my executive producer?
Davina.
Okay.
I swear she would be awesome at that.
She would. She'd be great.
You must be evil. I came in, and on Sky News that had this thing. In South Africa, there was a riot, and they were doing this horrible thing of throwing lighted tires over people. Somebody inside Sky News told me they were waiting for the footage. If the footage of this poor guy turned up, it was in the news. If the footage didn't turn up, it wasn't even in the news. And that's when I started to get very grumpy, because you start to see news as pornography. If we have something horrible, it's news. If we don't, it's not news. And I hate it still to this day, seeing things that are only there because everyone, they think that everyone's going to want to watch it, And that's what you must be able to about. It's about the media turning pornography. Joan's dad was staying with us. Joan's mum and dad was staying with us. And he was saying he didn't know what to say to Josie because she saw it. She's eating her dinner and it was on 6 o'clock news. I said, well, what did he say to her? I said, well, he's gone to heaven. And then I just went up to see her. And this is how songs are. You see her, she's asleep. And you look out the window and suddenly you go, okay, so Grandad said there's a heaven. I'd like someone to tell me there's a heaven as well, And that's where song ideas come from. But it was all off that news, 6 o'clock news. And I could see the whole world just becoming horrible very quickly.
So just a little bit behind the ethos of that album. A hugely popular album. Not my favorite necessarily.
I know your favorite. Yes.
Now, was that the track on your list there, my friend?
Actually, you're not going to believe that. Heaven's not on my top 10.
No, I mean the Road to Hell parts 1 and 2.
Oh yeah. That was number 10.
I've knocked one of yours off already.
Yeah, and just to show that I'm not being a homer or anything like that, I'll show you my list. I'll show it to everybody, but I want to wait till we're done this.
Do you want me to carry on with a few more of mine, or
absolutely? And we'll just compare. So we're at 10. Let's go to 9.
All right. I'd just like to say hail to Snowdub. Hail to everybody that's in the chat. You're small, but you're beautiful.
How many are we?
There's probably only about half a dozen people or so. I mean, but
that's great.
Listening to a great artist. So the next track in my list, I think, which is representative of for me some of his best stuff, is a song called Blue Street.
Okay.
Which sorry, that's a way of getting rid of the echo. Which was from one of his. So he does mainly blues and jazz albums now. He's done a really nice series of those ever since an album called Stony Road, and he did an album called Blue Street. Let me just call the images up. Forgive me while again I got to do this freaking. I wish there was a one-button share, but there isn't. So this is one of his later albums. It's on his own jazzy label, and also the song appeared on another album called The Blue Jukebox. And they're mainly instrumental jazz and blues pieces. And the one that I really love, and you could pick any because there's some beautiful tracks on there, or not that one. We'll come to that one later. The Blue Jukebox and Blue Street. Mm-hmm. The track itself, Blue Street, is for me is almost like a New Orleans blues piece. You could imagine them walking down the street in Mardi Gras playing this. It's got horns in it. It's kind of got that vibe. So I'll play it. I'm going to play a little bit of it too. May YouTube allow us, and just to get a little taste of it's really what he's all about now. Top 10 songs, videos. I've all filed here, it's all filed away.
Yeah, it's all good. I should be filling in the holes here. I apologize.
Yeah, no, not a worry. No worries, mate. So
I'm taking by the album cover. I like that album cover. It's very clever. And it's got the 40s and the
Yeah,
50s
no, that's
look.
based upon, I can't remember the name of it, but that painting of the guy sitting alone. But it's based on that painting, whose name escapes me, of the guy sitting at the bar or sitting in the cafe on his own. And they've turned it to look the other way, and it's blue, and there's a blue jukebox inside. Here we go, Blue Street. So let's open this.
Now, do you have a number 9 in there?
A number 9 what?
Song?
This is number 9.
Okay.
The song Blue Street, sorry.
Okay.
I'm trying not to talk too much because of the echo. Edward Hopper, that's it, Edward Hopper.
Let me guess, that was Davina again, right?
Yes, she knows everything. I wish she knew how to fix echoes. No echo, that can't be right.
She's working on it.
So, this series of images was put together by somebody on YouTube to go with the song, because there's no video of it, he doesn't play it live.
And there's no echo on this. There only seems to be an echo when you...
But you can hear a bit. It's weird, isn't it?
I don't hear anything.
But this song is... It's got sax, it's got harmonica.
Slide guitar.
Yeah, and then later on...
Take a walk down.
A little bit of a vocal.
Take a walk with me.
His voice is so good on these.
Yes.
Just what came to be. Took your daydream to the dealer.
Hale one-man show.
Close your eyes and kiss his feet.
So he's definitely got a different vibe from the pop star vibe of the 80s.
He's going back to his roots.
Yeah, I'll flip forward a little. You hear the stand-up bass. And then it kicks into that harp. But just a little bit of guitar, which it then builds up later.
When you realize the fear you
The bass picks up a bit.
coming from the inside of your own soul.
Just shows the complete versatility of the man.
The only thing you can't control.
Yeah, Angelo Badalamenti. This is where the near New Orleans piece really kicks in.
There sure ain't no sunny side. Drop to the paving stone. 'Cause there's nowhere you can hide. Yeah, this is Blue Street.
So you can see what he's aiming for.
Yep.
And there's a dozen different tracks from his latter day albums I could have picked, but I feel this is great representative of them.
And you can imagine him playing in a basement-filled, smoke-filled bar in the basement somewhere, and it's just got a few tables and the full band on the stage.
That's right, yeah, very much so, yeah. So that's Blue Street, both a song and an album.
Right.
Also on the Blue Jukebox, which was a collection of some of those tracks. And he's done a number of these. Some of them are even jazzier than this.
Nice.
But I do love that stuff. So it was for me, it was a little bit of a representative of what he does now.
Mm-hmm. And that was your number 9?
That was my number 9.
You
Number
want to hear
8.
what I got? Oh, you want to hear what I got?
Oh, yeah, you got a different 9?
I got a different 9.
All right, go for it.
Looking for the Summer.
Oh, Looking for the Summer. Beautiful track.
That was my number 9.
Yeah, so let's talk about that song, though, which, let me get some images up again. I got my, now that's a Road to Hell track, isn't it?
Yes. What?
Is it Road to Hell?
Or is it...
Yeah, that's Looking for a Rainbow I'm thinking of. Looking for the Summer is...
It's not open. No, it's not open.
It's not on...
I had so many open today. I had
I
Shamrock Rhapsodies.
Shamrock Diaries. Yeah, there's
Diaries.
There's about 24 albums and about 15 compilations. And I literally get, because I play a lot of stuff in shuffle, I forget which
Right.
albums they're on.
Okay.
Looking for the Summer was on Auberge.
Auberge. Yeah, we should know
Auberge.
that. We should know that.
And it is, it's one of, so we're going to talk a little bit about Auberge because it's no secret it's my favorite Chris Rea album. That track is very indicative of that album. It's warm but sad, tinged with sadness, sentimentality. It's got a really great acoustic guitar and steel guitar piece. And that really, it's like he's singing right up into the microphone like this, you know.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful track. I don't have a clip of it lined up, but it was a bit of a hit single, but not big, like number 40 or something. And it does. I think it was featured briefly in Basic Instinct, that song. So,
was there music in that movie?
It was in a diner or something.
Really? I don't recall. Sorry,
nobody recalls anything about that.
Sharon Stone.
But it's interesting. So Auberge, that's a great. I mean, again, we could pick any track off Auberge, and it's hard to be represented. But I'm glad you picked that one because it is a beautiful song. I
have a few of them. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my number 8 was the track Auberge itself.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to go there. I'm going to open this damn image, and we're going to have this image up on the screen, and whether we like it or not. So let me share. I'm going to share with you.
You'll never guess what my number 8 is. It's not Auberge.
Auberge is the 1991 album, which he made. It was the next album after Road to Hell.
Yes.
And completely different in tone from The Road to Hell. And
his best commercial success, I think, eh?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
6 times platinum in the UK, big hit in Europe, pretty big hit in Australia and places like that. It probably was his commercial peak. Even though The Road to Hell had been a huge hit. But this whole album is really the antidote to the black-pilled grimness that he talked about in The Road to Hell. He's basically said, we're going to throw off the modern world. I'm going to go and drive out to this little place in France, and we're just going to chill.
Yes. But there's still a few sad songs in there, like Gone Fishing.
Well,
Gone Fishing.
I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about that one later.
Okay, sorry. I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet.
So track like You're Not a Number, where he's basically saying you can't. It's like The Prisoner. You can't file me. You wake up and realize you're not a number, and you can be what you want to be, and screw the world. Sing a Song of Love to Me. Every second counts. They're all beautiful, and the final track in this album, The Mention of Your Name. It's like the biggest tearjerker I've ever heard, I think. Where he sings, he's at a party and a former love's name is mentioned, and it immediately takes him back to the days they were together. And it's so sad and wistful, but beautiful, very beautiful. I mean, it's his most beautiful album, I think. But the track Auberge itself, the title track, is a little bit more upbeat. It's one of the upbeat ones on the album. It really gives him a great chance to show off his guitar skills. Yes. The opening track we played at the top of the show was the prelude to the track live, but I have a slightly different I have a more what's the word? I've got the bit after that too.
Okay, a sequel.
Yeah. So
you sent me that.
Yes, this is a really more straightforward playing of it. It doesn't do the big long intro. I like the French horns.
Yes.
Or wherever they are, tubas.
On the half-past train, on the road again. Something gets right through to your telephone. There's a sort of niche and an electric switch. Sometimes I swear this body's got a mind of its own.
That's Max Middleton with the hat on playing.
Ah, yes.
He always wears that hat.
This is the life. There's only one place left to go.
Great vocal again.
Yes. Good camera work there.
It is to get into the horn. He's playing his white strategy. He's neither rock nor blues.
You meet the silent type on a windy trail. With a
We'll flip forward a little if that's okay.
There he is.
Yeah, that's him. Interesting though that he worked with Jeff Beck all these years and Chris Rea.
Oh, give me a weekend, give me a day. Don't like what I'm seeing, though I hear what you say. Think with a dagger and you'll die on your knees. Begging for mercy, saying please bless the breeze. 'Cause this is the naked truth, and this is the life. And there's only one place left to go.
Anyway. So that's the title track, Auberge, which was my number 8.
And
track.
that was my number 2.
That was your number 2. You see, we may have switched 8 and 2 between us.
Yes. And my number 8 was Stone.
Oh, great. Yeah, you see, I would never have, I wouldn't have let, this is good. What do you like about that track in particular, my friend?
The instruments, to be honest with you. I know it sounds like a cheap, but just the way it's arranged, the way it's played. I just like the music in it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I wish I had a clip line up from it, but I don't know. That's Shamrock Diaries, which I've got at least 2 tracks from. So we're going to we'll talk about the album for sure.
But mind you, most of my love have grown in the last week that I've been studying. Don't forget, I'm stuck at home. So therefore, I do about an hour of homework, and I say, "Oh, I like this song." I write it down, and I try to write down what album it is, and I try to listen to it and all that. But I've been trying to go through his compilation as much as I can. That's why I got songs out of different albums, and I would fast track albums. You know, so there's no rhyme or reason. It was just at that time I loved that song, and I rearranged them all. Maybe half an hour before we sat down together, I'm like, yeah, this is my top 10. Yeah,
and Shamrock Diaries, again, it's virtually every one of these albums you could pick any track from. They're all good.
Everyone's a gem.
And that one, I think, because he talks a lot of the songs that album are about his Irish side, as well as some of his memories in Middlesbrough. But, so that's a good one, mate. Very good. I wish I had a video lineup to play for it, but
not bad for a French guy who shoots the puck.
Shoot the puck. And then you feel shame, you go in the box and you feel shame.
For 2 minutes.
So the next song on my list I had at number 7 on my kind of top 10. My top 10 stuff was hang on, I gotta share screen. Is a song called Working on It.
Oh, don't have that.
So Working on It was actually a new track that he recorded specifically for his first, first big compilation album in the UK called New Light Through Old Windows. And that came out, I'm just checking, is everybody still seeing this stream?
I'm seeing it.
It's okay, yeah. Maybe it's just me. I'm getting buffering in my studio side, but hey, what the hell? If everyone else has seen it, that's good. So new Light Through Old Windows. He's had about 15 compilations since. I mean, Magnet and WA keep recycling the same stuff. This was released in 1988, and what he's done a few times with tracks is he re-recorded a lot of the tracks for this. So if you listen to a song like Let's Dance or On the Beach or Stainsby Girls on this album, it's different from the original album versions.
Or Road to Hell.
That's not on here because that was before Road to Hell. This was before he had that success.
No, I know, but I'm saying, as for example, how he re-records everything. Road to Hell was re-recorded in 2008 and put on a compilation album.
Right. He's done that a number of times with a number of tracks. I think On the Beach has got like 6 different versions, including a dance one and whatever.
Okay. They said that was hip. Said that was hip. His record label said, "Hey, let's put it in disco."
So it actually isn't that bad an idea, because I like both versions, but they're very different if you listen to them. I would urge you to like take a song like On the Beach and listen to the original version and then listen to the re-recorded one on this compilation. And I guess he could say, well, I'm not shortchanging people who are buying this album because they're going to get different versions to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, if you want the original versions, suck it up.
Or maybe it opened the doors to guys like Joe say, "Hey, I want to hear the original version." And
yeah, exactly. And I like this compilation. It's one of my favorite compilations of any artist's hits. So let's play a little bit of Working on It, which is a much more hard-edged rock song, which he recorded specially for this. It wasn't on any other album.
Okay.
And it was a single as well. So I'm going to do that magic thing I do where I play
phrasing.
This is Working on It. And YouTube hasn't killed us yet. He's in his late 80s garb here. Boiler suit. He looks like Kid Rock when he's dressed like that.
Yep. He does.
Except it's way before Kid Rock.
Kid Rock was a kid.
Oh, this job, it's got the best of me. Tell you why. I'll tell you why.
And it's much more upbeat rocker. Really great bass and live crowd pleaser. There's the Dire Straits.
Yeah, comparison.
8 little fingers, 2 thumbs. And he's complaining about the record company telling him to get stuff out. He's working on it. Yeah, described as in reviews as a straight ahead, 4 on the floor driving beat, power rock.
Hey, Kremlin. Kremlin's here.
Hey, Kremlin. Jim Donegan, good to see you, Jim. Thanks for joining. We're still not getting taken down even though we're playing music.
Stop talking about it.
I can't get over that outfit.
I know. Looks good. But yeah, great vocal. Also a big soul edge to it, R&B soul.
solo come. I'll flip forward because our algorithm might catch us. Yeah, anyway, that's my number 7 out of 10. And live, it's a great track.
Even better, yeah. Live when pre-illnesses.
Yep, exactly. And that was still pre-shit going down. It's funny, the fashion thing, though, because he was never fashionable, he said himself.
But Kid Rock made this fashion and he ripped off Chris Rea. So now we know.
Chris Rea, now we know, exactly. Like when his timing was poor, because when he had his first hit there with Fool If You Think It's Over, 1978, the height of punk, the new wave of British heavy metal was going to kick in. Progressive rock was going, and he's sitting playing a piano ballad, and he's got a jersey on and whatever. His timing wasn't good, unfortunately. And of course, that song, which we will talk about later, more detail, gave people one impression of him, and it wasn't the only impression they should have got. So, but anyway, working on it, great track. That was my 7.
My 7, as a lowly Canadian, is Daytona.
Oh God!
Closing my eyes on there,
Yeah, that is a beautiful track. Yeah, he's lyric. I mean, he writes the vast majority of his material. He's what you would call a troubadour, I guess, in the old days, or a singer-songwriter.
Yes, troubadour. Yes,
yeah. Writes, plays. I mean, he's not just a guitar player; he's a great piano player. Sings. He's a man of many parts. Most of them not functioning anymore, unfortunately, Chris. Sorry to say, you're poor bugger, but he's
happens. It will happen to us too.
It's this kind of thing, though, that I like acts. I've always liked acts like Chris Rea, that cannot be pigeonholed very easily. I guess they do their own thing,
What I was going to say, he's the movie equivalent of a writer-director. Okay, that's how you get the best product, because the same person writes it down and puts it right up there. So to me, that's what I would say. I know Chris Rea is totally, ironically enough, very little people know about him.
But I would call it, as I call it, some of my shows, underlooked. He's an underlooked artist. For an artist that's had millions of record sales, hardly anybody seems to know him.
It's almost like Lindsey Buckingham. And again, I'm quoting Joe here, Joe Atmosphere. Everybody knows of Lindsey Buckingham. Nobody knows who Lindsey Buckingham is. People are surprised he's from New Jersey with a name like that.
Well, yeah, you would think he was kind of Californian or British or something, or
well, actually, he's from California. He was born in California, but Lindsey Buckingham, you would think he's from, I don't know, London or somewhere around there,
like somewhere near the palace.
Yeah, Lindsey Buckingham.
Yeah, so Sedona, great track.
That was 7.
That was your 7. Okay, well, number 6, I'm going to go back to the hits. I'm going to go back to the beach, in fact. I'm going to do On the Beach. And again, a heavily played track. Well, certainly it was in Britain and Europe. Not so sure about North America. I think it may have been a bit of a hit. This is the track that he was probably the closest to being a pop star you could get. I'm not going to show the official music video, but he's got the blonde hair. He's in Greece or somewhere. He's walking down the beach with a guitar. They were really pushing him as a pop star there. As he said, he wanted to be. He just wasn't really him, He would love to have been a pop star. On the Beach, the album released in 1986 after Shamrock Diaries. So Shamrock Diaries was the one that that was probably the one that commercially got him to a certain level after about 5 or 6 other albums that were great. I love all the earlier stuff, Deltics, Tennis, Wire to the Moon. I think they're great albums. Suffered a bit from production, I think. It's just why he re-recorded some of the best tracks later. But you didn't really like some of the production that was going on. But the single On the Beach from the album On the Beach did become a hit. The album was certainly top 10 in Europe and Australia and so on. The single has been a hit a couple of times in different versions. There's a jazzier version, there's a funkier version, there's a disco version, or a club version, I should say.
Disco's good.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful track. Again, he can make what would otherwise be fairly bland pop music in someone else's hands sound really. It's a Steely Dan kind of track, if you want to look at it that way. So let's see if we can share a little bit of a live performance of this.
I saw the hat.
The hat, the Panama hat.
Gives it away.
Hopefully we get a few people still watching this out there, enjoying the music. I am indeed from California. I'm just very much a Californian stoner, skateboarder, hippie. I love that little kind of very simple riff. Glad you're enjoying it. Thanks for being here.
Steely Dan.
The eyes of love, I call your name.
Good hair.
Nice.
Behind those guarded walls, I used to go. Upon a summer wind,
It's probably the hunkiest he would ever look. The girls would have liked it.
to the place that I know. On the lake, on the lake, the secrets of this summer I will keep.
But yeah, you'd hear this at the time on the radio a lot in the UK. It got played a lot in the summer, naturally. You hear it in Europe and beach resorts. It was a summer record, deliberately so, just with that feeling of sunshine.
That's the beauty about all this music.
Yeah, it's right, and it shares a similar vibe then to Bears in that it's upbeat, it's getting away from it all. He's comfortable because he's on this beautiful. I just love the whole thing. It's got such a vibe. It ain't hard rock, but it's got a vibe. Maybe jazz, which is the great Max Smith. See, he's playing the blue guitar, and you knew he was going to play a light song. They should all be on the beach right now. It makes me want to go to the beach. I went out for a walk today, and it's nice, but it's 10 below centigrade below. So it's nice, but it might be
Fahrenheit.
Centigrade, 10 centigrade below.
Oh, centigrade, okay. We're having a heat wave here. It was plus 2 degrees in Ottawa.
That's good. Yeah, we've been a nice sunny days, but still a little nippy.
The sun didn't come out till 3, so by then the day was over.
Yeah. They looked at it, take a look, and went, nah. And went back to the sun. Anyway, that's On the Beach, which is my number 6. Beautiful, beautiful song. If you want a vibe, there he goes into the reggae bit. So I'll probably draw that one to a close for time purposes.
Yeah.
I just got to get rid of a couple of it. So that was On the Beach, big hit album. Really, after Shamrock Diaries, he just took another level again. Great album. So what did you have in your number 6, my friend?
Windy Town.
Oh, Windy Town. You see, I almost that's on my honorable mentions list.
Okay. Didn't make your top 10.
No, but I have a list of honorable mentions, which we will go over.
But going by what you're doing, I'm almost like I first looked at my thing here, my list, and I'm like, wow, I'm almost like a music snob here with all these unknown songs, or good songs, but unknown songs.
Not at all. I see. That's why I've got this 10 that I was going to do a top 10. I thought, well, maybe I'll make it more of a sampler because I've got some of the hits in there and a couple of others. But otherwise, I would have had Windy Town. I mean, I listed the honorable mentions list at the back. Tennis from his second album, Tennis. I love that song, Tennis. Do you like tennis? It's got a great guitar piece in it. I don't know what it is, but I like it. It's a big hit. The mention of your name.
It's almost as good as Shoot the Puck.
Shoot the Puck.
That always puts a smile on your face. I don't know why.
It does. I just love the way he said, then you go in the box, the penalty box, and you feel shame. Texas, Let's Dance, which was a big hit as well.
Okay.
Candles is an absolutely beautiful piano-driven ballad that he did. Candles. It's great piano riff in it. Too Much Pride, great song from the early 90s. You Can Go Your Own Way, which was used in a movie as well, I think, or in an advert. You can go your own way. A lot of his songs were about driving because he loves cars. Soft Top, Hard Shoulder, which was used in a movie as well. Deltex.
That's a car.
Deltex. He's the only man I know that's written an album about, or called an album after a diesel railway engine. Because that's what a Deltex is.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
Yeah. I Can Hear Your Heartbeat. That's another one. These are all in the honorable mention. But Deltex, I love that because I was a train spotter.
Oh, okay.
I read a song and an album about diesel engines.
Wow. No, hey, that's commitment.
Yeah.
But just to show you where inspiration comes from sometimes.
Well, exactly. And I guess, again, that goes back to the industrial thing because you probably lived next to a rail yard or grew up next to a rail yard. You'd see these Deltic engines going up and down all the time. Big, heavy engines. So we're going to have another big hit now. And I think we have to do it because it is possibly his best known, other than The Road to Hell, it's possibly his best known song, which is Fool If You Think It's Over.
Okay.
So this is from the album, his first album, released in 1978, called Whatever Happened to Benny Santini. And clearly he's a fashion victim. He's got the Doctor Who scarf on. Produced by Gus Dudgeon, Elton John's producer, which was insisted on, the record company insisted on that. Not a bad album, and the lead track is Fool If You Think It's Over, which did turn out to be a bit of a hit, including a number 12 hit in the US. But there's a little interview where he talks about it, and I'm going to see if I can call that up first before we play the song. So forgive me while I fiddle.
No, that's fine. I was watching the same interview today.
Is it the Good Morning one? The two hosts? No.
No. It wasn't that one. This was, it looked like an American one in a hotel room. And he's just talking about all his life and on and how he went from.
Forgive me if I get the wrong one here, and we'll.
No, it's all good. It's all good. well, there's tons of you go in for interviews. There's tons of them on the internet.
This one isn't working for some reason anyway. So
This one was the 2-camera one, the set camera, and then the one
I think
that
I
will
know
go
the one
around.
you mean, but I'm having trouble getting it to play. Shit. Anyway, in this interview, he talks about the producer. Let's try this. I'll try this one. See if it'll work. No, I'll have to find the YouTube version of it because it's interesting. It is an interesting interview in that he.
Well, how he says, like before he met in with Gus Dudgeon, yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Lost.
Could you hear that?
I heard that very well, loud
Can
and
you all
clear.
hear that?
It was an
You can
old
hear 'em?
Muddy Waters blues song called "Don't Start Me Talking," and I was just fascinated about where these people were. It had that old-fashioned blues ambient sound.
I think this is the one.
And I imagined
That's the one I was listening to today.
Memphis or somewhere, you know. And I filled all the rest in myself. And it wasn't a bit like I imagined. But,
We should have English
not fully
subtitles for
imagined.
everybody here.
But that's what it was. This strange guitar.
You can still make out what he says.
I
It
know,
was.
I'm
They
just
told me
kidding.
it was slag guitar. You put a bottleneck on this. and
I
you
think he
played
talks about the
without
flow if you
looking
think
at
it's over.
frets. And I found it very, very expressive, you know. And that was it. I was hooked. I just didn't want to be a pop star, a rock star. That's why it started late. I was 22.
This is funny.
And I'd missed that whole teenage thing of wanting to be in a band for fame and fortune and all that. I was obsessed with the musical side. And so I used to write songs for different bands. So I was in 3 bands in Middlesbrough, chopping around. And one night, a singer didn't turn up. And because I'd written the songs, or some of the songs, I had to have the job of going to the microphone because nobody else knew the words, you know, like the bass player, the guitarist, they didn't care about the words, you know. And that was it. I got offered a deal immediately.
This is the one,
publishing deal.
Yeah.
And a recording deal for myself without the band, you know, famous old story. And the band at the same time had just won the Melody Maker Song Contest. And so they had a record deal anyway. So the Losers had a record deal with EMI. And it was beautifully convenient, you know, that nobody at that point in time looked like they were leaving.
No one got screwed. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they went to EMI and I went to Magnet Records. It was dreadful and it hasn't got any better.
This is good.
It's a strange situation I keep finding myself in. I've still got a piece of paper at home that says, "Fool if you think it's over." And in brackets it says, "Song for Al Green." And that's how I saw "Fool if you think it's over." And they sent me down with Elton John's producer. And I didn't know that there was different ways you could make records. I thought, well, this guy's Elton John's producer. This has got to be the way it is. And the process was so slow. It was at the beginning of 16-track, 24-track tape recorders. Producers were into double tracking things, meticulous recordings. And I didn't know in the end what was going on. You know, I was fresh from Middlesbrough. By the time Fool came out, I'm still stood there going, I'm not happy with this. And they're going, "Oh, don't worry, Chris, don't worry." Next thing I knew, it was in the top 10 in America. And I was the ghost that laid the golden egg. And so I was trapped.
He was
you know,
trapped. Yeah, they trapped him.
in a kind of a poppy man sitting at piano image. And it just wasn't me. I had to fight really, really hard.
That's what I was telling you about earlier.
They were about to let me go. And there was a man from this very town telephoned me up and said, "If you come over here, I can put a good package together. I really like this record." And the record was Water Sign. And it was Dave Pennyfeather.
Started to get there, yeah.
At that point in time, I was going to open up an Italian restaurant and walk away from the music.
Imagine the lost.
I know, we would never have got Auberge, Road to Hell, all that stuff.
Real gigs. Dave was saying,
what you do is you do a lot of small gigs around Ireland.
Yeah.
When you've finished, you do.
So I'm going to stop that right now. But
She said, at least do this for a year before.
And he listened to his wife, and his wife convinced him to do it for 1 year.
That is the interview, mate. You're right. But I love it. He said, the record came. Fool, you think it's over? Came out, and he didn't even know it was done. He said, so long, this thing's going on forever, you know. He said they typecast me as a piano playing balladeer.
Yes,
that's what they wanted from him, but he didn't want to do that. He did want you to do a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to play, but it is a song that made him. The royalties from that song kept him going through the bad times when he lost his manager. He was down in his luck. Looked like he was going to lose his record company. Nobody was wanting his stuff, and he tells a story of they got home when they wrote Driving Home for Christmas. The wife literally drove him from Abbey Road Studios, where he'd had a terrible meeting with the record company, back to Middlesbrough for Christmas, and he'd said, okay, who cares? He wrote that song as a kind of I don't give a shit. Got home and there was a check to the freezing house because they had no heating and it's winter. There was a royalty check on the floor from America for full, if you think it's over, like from 10 years worth of royalties or something.
Oh, wow.
You've no idea just what a difference that made. And his wife said, well, what are we going to do? He said, we're going to buy the biggest Christmas tree we can find. It was like manna from heaven. Oh my God, we're saved, you know, because you've been trying to get that money for years. Like, you know, artists, they get screwed all the time. And
all the time.
All of a sudden it drops through the door at Christmas, and it must have been a big number, I'm thinking. A pretty big number. So let's play the song in question, though, which is a beautiful song. It's not necessarily what he wanted to be seen as, but hell, he wrote the thing, and it is lovely. It's Fool If You Think It's Over, which has been covered to death as well by people. And here he plays it in the guitar.
In Budapest?
Could be. No, that's Rock Palast, which is a German show. It's been on for hundreds of concerts that are available from that Rock Palast. Famous German show. You know, this is in his blonde period. It looks like a waifu or something from an anime.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like K-pop.
It does. Yeah. So he was at his hippest here. I like this version of the song.
Yeah, it's nice.
And the sentiment is interesting. You know, it's not over. You're young, you don't know what you're doing, it's not over. Your life isn't over just because somebody's rejected you.
That's right.
It's a beautiful message. That great voice.
Indeed.
We talked about his guitar playing, but that's one of the most underrated voices in rock. You hear a little bit of his accent in it.
Yeah, that looks like the 80s crowd.
So goodbye. Beautiful, beautiful melody. Bass player's playing stick bass, headless bass.
Okay. 80s.
Yep. But you know, I have a soft side to me, and this appeals greatly to me. This is why it's in my top 10. Yeah, Elton John, he has done a duet of this. He's done a couple of tracks with Elton John.
I'll buy you first good wine. We'll have a real
That Rock Blast gig is good if you can see the whole thing. It's
Okay.
an excellent gig, yeah. Anyway, that made my top 10. Number 5, in fact. This version particularly.
Yeah, it's a good version.
So that was his first single from that album, on his first album. Number 12 US hit. Despite the fact he didn't even know they'd released it. What
And he
single?
didn't like it. And he didn't like it either.
Yeah, what single? But yeah, beautiful, beautiful song. And his lyrics are so poetic.
Mm-hmm.
It's that troubadour thing we were talking about. He's a
Yeah.
poet, really. If you
And
really
also,
look at him.
also, he would write something and be impressed by it, and he would call his drummer, who was a kind of like you, 70s, a walking encyclopedia, and he would ask him and say, "Hey, did anybody ever did this?" He said, "Okay, well, lay it on me." He would say, "Well, in the morning mist, I think of you, my love," and no. And he comes back and says, "Nope, no, nobody ever did this. It's all yours. Thank God, thank you.
Yeah,
I got a hit right here."
That's right. Yeah, it's the old Paul McCartney and thing with Yesterday. He kept waking up with this tune in his head and saying, "Where did I hear that? I must have heard that." And he'd ask everybody if they'd heard it, and they'd go, "No, never heard that before." He was convinced that he'd heard it somewhere.
So, my number 5 was September Blue.
Oh God, you're going for the really nice stuff. That's beautiful.
Well, that's the kind of mood I've been in the last week. I have a soft spot too. I just don't shoot the puck. Okay, no more.
No slashing.
But anyway,
hang on, I got that video here. I think
September Blue or shoot the puck.
No, I don't. I've taken the slap shot ones out of the list at the side. Where they. Well, this is hooking and this is slashing.
Yeah. Well, you made me laugh on Monday when you said this is what a movie or whatever it was in Quebec, and you see the goaltender coming out and just clotheslining the guy. The
Well, I've
crowd
got that
just
one.
goes.
You mean
And
that
everybody's
one?
cheering. That one. That makes me laugh every
One time,
time.
motherfucker. That is one of my favorites, all-time favorites.
And to
Makes me
think
laugh
that
every
there's
time.
there's actually a sport behind all that.
No, somewhere in there. But yeah, the September Blue lyrics are absolutely gorgeous when you read them. I mean, I don't know. It's Shamrock Diaries again. I mean, a great album. I've still got two out of my top 5 are Shamrock Diaries. But funnily enough, it's not my favorite album. But there you go. But yeah, I'll be all right though I may cry. The tears that flow, they always dry. It's just
Yeah, exactly.
Just that I'd rather be with you now. And every time I see that star, I will say a prayer for you now and forever. September Blue. I'm not doing it any justice, but that's poetry to me.
Yeah, it is. Troubadour, like you said, you hit it right on the head.
Yeah. Well, it was
No,
my
it's-
wife that said he's a troubadour, and I said that's a great way of putting
Yeah.
it. You know?
Way to go,
She's,
Mrs. 70s.
She's got some insight sometimes.
Yeah, well, she married you, didn't she?
She did, yes. Well, nobody's perfect.
No good deed goes unpunished.
So at number 4, indeed, no, that's right. That's a very good way of putting it. Yeah. So number 4, I'm going to go for a kind of representative example of his post-Auberge, pre-blues period, where he did 2 or 3 really good albums with a lot of great tracks, which I mentioned in my honorable mentions. So this is from the album God's Great Banana Skin, and this is a single of it. The single came from the album. This was a really good album. I mean, there's a long track at the beginning of the album called Nothing to Fear, which is like a long, slow burning track. And it's about, I guess it's a little bit geopolitical. It's about conflict with Islam particularly. And because that in the early 90s, obviously lots of things were happening in that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that. And it's a song called Too Much Pride, which again is about people thinking above themselves and need to get back to the reality of their lives. Soft Top Hard Shoulder is on here, which is a fantastic driving rock song for driving, about cars, for driving.
I was going to say, it sounds like a car song.
It is. It's a car song. I'm pretty sure it was in a movie, and I wish I could remember. It was a British film of that name. It's a comedy drama called Soft Top Hard Shoulder. I think I might be right in saying that the guy who played Dr. Peter Capaldi might have been in it, if I remember right.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen it for a long time. So that was the theme song from that. But the song I like is This God's Great Banana Skin, which again is a lot of his songs in this period were about hubris. And this is what, like, you think you're doing pretty good here, but a banana skin's going to get thrown in front
of you. Yeah.
And I like the sentiments in it, you know. So let's play a little bit of that. As I do have a live performance of it lined up. And I love it. It's a good thumping beat, mid-tempo rocker. Catchy as hell. Honestly, there's a dozen artists if they'd recorded this, it would have been a #1 hit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's so catchy.
Elton John, Eric Clapton.
Yeah, Eric Clapton.
I can see a lot of bands.
Guy points a finger at you.
Yeah.
And it's positive because I never think anyone's better than you. Don't give up on yourself. It's a smile and everything.
Every day, strangest ways. Just keep your head down. Don't listen what your ego will say. 'Cause when a man in the sky points his finger at you, don't you ever think no one's better than you. God's great banana skin.
Slade.
God's great banana skin.
That one made my #4. God's Great Banana Skin. This is kind of, it's mid-period Chris Rea.
Pre-illness.
Yes, still pre-illness, post Road to Hell, Auberge, still kicking it with some really good catchy pop songs where you really got the blues going on. So, my friend, what did you have in your
Texas?
Oh, fuck. See, that's on my honorable mention. Isn't that a great record?
I know, it's great.
So, back to the Road to Hell album, track 4, Texas. Having lived there, I know exactly what he means.
It's about being in Texas.
It is, and it's about being on the road. That big, if you drive out west in Texas, it's just millions of miles of desert and scrub and grasslands, and it's just beautiful.
Scarcely populated. It's beautiful.
Big sky, you know. Davina, so I think Davina's got a point there. He's always suffered in his career from that segmentation. Because he might have a couple of pop hits, but then the rock guys are going to, we don't care about that, he's a pop guy. Then he does a great rocker, and they go, well, that's lovely, but I hate all that other stuff. And blues guys are, well, I like a bit of that, but I don't like all that. He couldn't, it's get tough to get a consistent following.
He couldn't get in a groove. Segmentation.
Yeah. And I'm one of these weird guys who kind of likes guys like that and bands like that, like Sad Cafe and City Boy and all those 70s, 80s guys who did their own, Andrew Gold, they did their own thing. And they were neither pop nor rock nor whatever. I actually love that. I've got a whole subgenre of bands like that I follow. You couldn't pigeonhole them, but they would be seen as, they had a couple of hits, so they were seen as pop, but City Boy is another one that I love, a British band called City Boy. They sit exactly in that zone. They could do hard rock, they had brass band songs, and they had, you name it, cabaret, they could do everything. And I like that. Yeah, God's Gate Brianna Skin was a bit of a hit, as Davina says, number 31, which isn't bad, but he never really, he never fit in the box, Never fit in the box. So,
but again, he never wanted to be a pop star. He said it to himself. So why would he do something popish, Or
I know, and I don't agree. I mean, sorry, I agree with Davina. I don't care about chart performance either. I couldn't give a monkey's. But I like these guys to have some success because it allows them to keep going, And then I get So that having those successful songs for guys like him are vital to be able to sustain a career. As he said at one point, they were going to open a restaurant, him and his wife, because he thought he was done in music.
Right.
Now, he might have been a very good restaurant, of course, so we would have got the benefit of that. But yeah, he's a very... But yeah, Texas is a beautiful song, and I love the slow... It's just like a slow burner. Wide open spaces, blue skies, beautiful song, man. Beautiful song.
But that's the beauty. You can go from God's Bananas Skin to Texas to Auberge to Fool to anything, or even September Blue.
Yeah, and then he kicks in with a couple of fast rockers, and there's just biting slide guitar that he does on so many tracks. It's
some of his charm is the fact that you can't pigeonhole him anywhere. That's what makes him so good.
Yeah.
Like he was saying, he did Auberge, he was playing at Wembley. He had a classical musician in horns.
Yeah.
So, wow, a slide guitarist playing with horns. Imagine that.
I love that oompa sound. And a lot of English artists from the north of England have some of those kind of tracks in their oeuvre, because they grew up with the brass bands.
Oeuvre. Okay, I'm trying to... Oeuvre.
Not oeuvre.
Yeah. Okay. Now, oeuvre. I'm trying to think what the hell is he saying. I'm drinking Macallan and I still don't understand them.
Scotsman, my French is shit, so I'm sorry about
that. No, it's pretty good.
At least I say niche.
Niche? Well, that's an easy one.
Niche. I hate when people say niche.
Okay, my wife won't talk to me anymore because I keep asking her this. Say bœuf.
Bœuf.
Okay, I love it. Bœuf. You English people have a certain way of saying bœuf. Bœuf. It's just the way you say it. Pronunciation.
Jacques Oeuf, one of my favorite DJs now.
Jacques Oeuf?
Jacques Oeuf, not
Jack Eggs.
Jack off.
Okay. Now I get it.
There was a comedy show that had that joke in it once.
It's like Mike Roach.
Mike Roach, yeah, it's exactly like that. So we'll move on to the top three. We're under the top three, and this is no surprise. You're Shia LaBeouf.
I love it.
You can say it better than me. Say it.
No, it's not funny when I say it. Biff.
Shia LaBeouf.
But my wife refuses to say that word. I traumatized her in the first 5 years. And she's like, I'm not saying that word.
You see, we have a thing, though, that we have to say everything ooh. So I can't say buh. I have to say boo.
Boo. I know. That's the beauty of it.
Boo.
Yeah, but again,
boosh.
we frogs speak with the back of our throats. So we can't say tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. The tree over there.
Well, like in the Irish, they say there's tree fellers over there.
Yes. And they crossed over into Newfoundland and they speak the same way.
Hey, those tree fellers. Are the guys cutting down trees, or are there three of them?
I got pulled over. Well,
Ruben,
we had an accident. I know we're moving far away from Chris Rea, but this quick little story. There was this cop out in Alberta. There was an accident. And he was wondering if I was French or Newfoundlander by the way I was talking with my accent.
Yeah. And you said neither. Neither. Or neither.
Pas tout, si.
Yeah. Pada whatever. Pada something.
Pas tout. Not at all.
Not at all, exactly. Ruben, it's nice to see you, buddy. Thanks for dropping in. We've got a very small crowd tonight as a newbie because nobody in North America, other than the people that are listening right now, know who Chris Rea is, and the Brits are all in bed, so no one's. We're getting a small but beautiful crowd.
The niche, educated music lovers.
They are niche, eclectic.
Yeah. I learned that word from you.
Yeah. So my number 3 is no surprise to you. It is a beautiful track from Auberge called "Gone Fishing."
Hey, so am I. I got it for number 3.
This has got to be one of the most gorgeous and atmospheric songs that anybody in the history of anything has ever done. Let me get to the lyrics. I just love this, and it's part of that Auberge thing where it's like, fuck the modern world. I'm just going to go fishing. I'm going to escape to somewhere beautiful and just sit and cast a line. And I'm going fishing, and I'm going today. And I love the last thing. You can waste whole lifetime trying to be what you think is expected of you, but you'll never be free. You may as well go fishing. That's what this whole Auberge album is about. And this, I mean, it's beautiful. He sings it beautifully. It's atmospheric. It's warm, and there's a beautiful, beautiful little piece of guitar in it. Backing stuff is steel acoustic, and then this beautiful little slide solo. I'm going to play a bit of it, and that is, as I said, from the album Auberge.
He got me with the lyrics. That's where I fell in love with the song. Was the lyrics
are just gorgeous, and it actually makes me. It's funny. There's some tracks that he does, and on this album particularly, that I'm an old sentimental guy. It actually bring a tear to my eye when I listen to them.
Yeah, it is sad.
That's a very special thing to be able to evoke that kind of emotion in a song. Not many people can do it, I don't think. Not really. They can attempt to do it manipulatively. He's not trying to manipulate anyone in this song. He's just doing it.
It's heartfelt.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I mean, I could listen to it. I've listened to it about 8 times today already, that song.
Oh, wow.
I listen to this album every week or two at some point.
Oh, really?
Maybe I'll put it on in the car, and I'll listen to it in the car when I'm doing somewhere. It is one of my 5 favorite albums of all time.
What I like about this musician is he brings in special effects, especially at the beginning of Auberge, that bottle that he knocks over and it rolls down. Like, he doesn't rush into
the guy's whistling the tune.
Exactly.
It's you can hear the bottle rolling at mid or whatever. He says something, I don't know what it is, and but he does it in other places. That's true. There's you hear birds whistling, birds as well.
Yes, and the music is never rushed. It's not like, okay, let's start here, let's get the hit song, let's get the millennial hook, and then let's finish off with a big bang. No. There's no start, there's no finish. It's just smooth. It just comes in.
So he has played it live. I couldn't find an actual video clip of it, but I found an audio clip from a gig in Aberdeen in Scotland that somebody's put some visuals over. So we're going to play that. There's the brass band again.
Yep.
I love this song.
Me too.
I did see him play it live on this tour. It was beautiful. This would be the tour I saw. Except I was in Glasgow, not Aberdeen.
So I'm taking the time. But you ain't never gonna be anyhow, anyway. So I'm going fishing, and I'm going today.
That voice.
I know.
I'm going fishing. It sounds crazy, I know. I know nothing about fishing, but just watch me go.
This bit.
And when the time's come, I'll look back and see peace on the shoreline that should have been made.
I always close my eyes when I listen to it. Except when I'm driving. When I'm driving, I don't do that. Beautiful. I'm so glad you love this too, Nick, because it's...
Well, it's one of those where the first time I heard it, I loved it.
Me too. And I knew people that didn't particularly like this album because they liked the harder rock stuff that was on Road to Hell, and I said, "You're mad. This is..." You know when they say if you went to a desert island, what you can only take 10 records with you, 10 albums, 5 albums. I would take this album, Auberge.
Oh, for sure.
It's in my 5 favourite albums of all time by any artist, and God knows I love the Beatles and people like that. This album just gets me every time. It's an album, a mature album by a man who has finally realised who he is and what he wants out of life.
Yep.
Coupled with a great artistic sense. Beautiful. Yeah, I wouldn't like to be restricted to... I mean, you can take an iPod and you can have 200,000 songs in it, so you don't really need to restrict yourself on a desert island anymore. But it's a beautiful, beautiful song. I just thank you, Chris Rea, for writing that song.
Well, mind you, there's an argument to be made about the iPod. You got to charge it eventually. At least a record, you can crank the thing and it would play as long as the gears last.
And ultimately, you could use it as a frisbee to catch birds, to hit birds out of the sky and
that's right,
kill them to eat. So, you know. But yeah, Auberge, a magnificent album, beautiful album. Just I can't praise it enough. And that song in particular, just I got a little bit of a tear in my eye already, and it's you know.
Well, so far we're pretty well matched, I guess. 3 and 10, we had the same exact song. That's pretty rare for two music guys, I guess.
Yeah, we had those two songs from Auberge for sure. I mean, we could have had any songs from Auberge. It's such a good album.
Yes.
I don't know how to praise it enough. I really don't. I just urge anyone who's never heard it, if you were to listen to one Chris Rea album, make it that one.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that though. Listen to all of them.
All of them. And when you're doing chores around the house, it's great background music. It's wonderful. And that one song will catch your ear. Like, that's what Gone Fishing did to me.
So Davina, really thank you for being here and for making all these great comments.
Yeah,
really
you're making us look smart.
You know your stuff. So they did do a nice set of re-releases of these with the 2-disc sets with lots of extras. Very beautiful stuff. I quite have I've still got the original single disc one, so I'm not. Yeah, I haven't quite got the cash to go that far. Got a couple of bits of vinyl still though. I do have. Believe it or not, I used to have a lot of Chris Rea vinyl and cassette, and now I've got them all mostly in digital. But I do still have my copy of Auberge on vinyl.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't that far back. I was still, 92?
This is what,
I was 20 years old, 21, so that's not that far back.
Sheer perfection, that album.
And I saw at the beginning in your picture reels, you had the blue car. He was standing beside it.
Yeah. He's into cars in a big way. He loves it. The only other piece of vinyl I've still got is because I had all these 7-inch singles and like an idiot, I got rid of a lot of them. Oh, I'm going to go digital. So I've got the 12-inch single of Espresso Logic, 99 pence.
Was that cents?
No.
For us Canadians?
99 pence.
What's a pence?
Penny, 99 pennies.
Okay, well, we call it cents.
Yeah.
In Canada. A penny, 99 penny. Okay, cool.
I've got a few others there, but they're sitting in boxes. Well, that's the two I've got out.
If you go to record stores, especially around Ottawa, you can find some gems that nobody knows about. You're like, wow.
But I had that because I used to get a lot of cassettes. I had his first 10 albums on cassette. And of course, I got rid of them all. Oh, I've got everything on digital now. I kill myself now.
Well, okay. Well, listen, we're negotiating, me and my wife. I got VHS and I got cassettes and I got banana boxes full. And my wife says, get rid of them. I'm like, no, they're staying in storage.
Never. And I had thousands of VHS things. I had all these Doctor Who VHSs, the original VHS releases of all the Doctor Who stuff.
Yeah.
And I got rid of them all. And I honestly, I could go back and slap myself. But yeah, this is beautiful art. I'm not quite sure who the artist was that did it, but I love that racing car. And that's the blue car. And he's driving down a road in France or something. It's just gorgeous artwork.
Nice. Yes.
Beautiful cover. There's everything about this album is class. Painting by Alan Fearsley, who did the painting, 1991, Magnet Records. I don't know who Alan Fearsley is, but it's a beautiful painting. There are multiple versions of that album cover, though. There's a couple of ones with the green surrounding them as well. I'm making it my mission to start picking up more of his vinyl again, especially next time I go back to the UK, just to get a complete collection. So I'm going to move on to number 2 in my voluminous list. I love that word, voluminous. So at number 2 for me, and it's hard. I mean, this is I say a top 10. There could have been 30. I think it's a nice selection that both Christian and I have done nice selections of songs that show off his various aspects of him. But number 2 for me is a song called Steel River. From the 1985 album Shamrock Diaries, which really at least in Europe, cemented him as somebody to pay attention to. The other previous albums had been a little bit hit and miss, partly due to production interference, making him try to do light pop stuff. Steel River was his first album. He really felt he had total control over. And oops, sorry, going too far, taking that too far. So Steel River is on Shamrock Diaries. I think there's a version of it in New Light from Old Windows as well, which is a re-recorded version. You know, as we said earlier, he re-recorded stuff. So the version on New Light through Old Windows is slightly harder edged. Shamrock Diaries, I think it was 1985, and the song Steel River was the first track on the album, and it's about his childhood in Middlesbrough, and you can see the picture of the River Tees, which is surrounded by industry, but the song is really about what it was like as a kid with all that industry around, and then what became of it when it all disappeared.
Yes.
I guess you could say the American equivalent would have been a Springsteen song of a
My
similar
Hometown.
Yeah. So this is all, it's like a homage, but it's also to the life he led, a homage to those working class people. But there's also lines in it around the betrayal of the nation that promised them they would have employment and be looked after forever if they did their bit. Well, they did their bit, and then the jobs disappeared and left behind a different kind of wasteland. They complained about the dirty river at the time and the polluted air, and then they left behind a wasteland of no jobs and unemployment and broken dreams and broken lives. So it sounds like a really bleak song, and parts of it are, but it's also a celebration of youth, his youth in that town and the vibrancy of it. So it's got everything. I mean, it's got great lyrics. It's a bit more of an upbeat song. It's even got a kind of a weird piano boogie solo in it. Let's play a little bit of it. It's at number 2 on my Chris Rea list. It's certainly one of his most significant songs, I think, of his oeuvre. Did I say that again? I'll say it again. Oeuvre.
I know what you mean now. It's okay. You can say it the way you want. Now I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So here we go. Steel River. Beautiful song.
Blonde hair.
Blondie again. And there's Max. Putting on the beef.
Oh, yes.
He's not got a Panama hat this time. He's got one of those other weird
Gilligan's Island hat.
I think that's Max.
Steel River, I see it all like yesterday. The ships and bridges were all delivered. Sydney Harbor to the Cisco Bay. I met my love down Steel River. We served our dreams to surround childhood. Rainy streets, we kissed away the ship. High from fields like laser clay. Dancing to most.
It's like a couple of his other songs. It's about the songs in high school, songs in his youth. Growing up, always makes good song material. And there's the German bombing that they suffered just in the docks. Which, I remember that the bomb sites were still around. And,
oh, yeah?
Yeah. They bombed the docks in Leith. There were still buildings, wrecked buildings there, even in the 60s.
Oh, wow.
And they bombed places like Hilo really hard, the Germans. Beautiful stuff.
Yes.
See, there's the Joe Walsh influence.
I see it.
Very Joe Walsh. I think we're doing quite well because we're playing these live versions and getting away with it YouTube.
Well, maybe you gotta learn a new way to do it now.
Yeah, but the recorded version on New Light Through Old Windows is really beautiful production. Quite hard, but like with a hard guitar sound. Beautiful song, regardless.
They were gonna raise the Celestine. It was only torn oil ever knew.
And this is about the jobs.
She would keep their children, even though
Not a single word was true about keeping their children. The jobs disappeared.
Right.
And it goes into this kind of funky bit. There's another German show, Ohne Filter, or
Okay.
Dutch Blast, Ohne Filter. These were all great shows in Europe. Tons of great concerts. All the big bands played them over here. Anyway, continues in that vein for a while, but that's my number 2 on Chris Rea's list.
Very good.
Great, epic song in many ways, lyrically.
Yes.
So I will. He gets into the piano boogie bit. He says there's a lot of boogie. He does boogie.
I know.
He
Or
likes
reggae.
He likes to boogie
Yes.
on a Saturday night. That's a T-Rex reference.
Okay. I never was into T-Rex too much. I know their hit songs, but I never got into them.
No. Only an old guy like me would make an obscure T-Rex reference for an obscure minor T-Rex hit. Get away with it. So what did you have at number 2, my friend?
Auberge.
And that's the proper way to say it.
Well, yeah, if you're French.
Not the Scottish way, which is auberge.
If you're Scottish, you're saying it properly.
Auberge. Auberge. Is it auberge or auberge?
Auberge.
Auberge. See, I can't do that. Auberge.
But you got to roll your R too.
Yeah, this is why I can't say words like lures, L-E-U-R-S. I can't say it because I can't roll my R's in that way.
Oh, okay. Lure.
Lures.
No, the S is silent. Lure.
L-E-U-R-S?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know. That's why I feel
that would be them.
Yes,
or theirs.
Yeah. That's why I failed French in school. So
okay. Well, hey, I failed Scottish.
we all, even the Scottish failed Scottish. So yeah, the Bears, we already discussed the track of Bears. It was in my top 10. Brilliant stuff. Fishing lures.
Lures.
Zut alors. No, Leurs is what I was trying to say, with theirs or theirs.
No, theirs. Yes.
Allures by Frank Zappa. That was a good pun. That one, yeah.
Okay.
So we're drawing ever closer to the final conclusion
Number
of
one,
this top
and
10.
2 hours and 8 minutes. Remember what we did
feeling
today?
good. I think focusing on songs was better than trying to go through album after album. But
No, I mean being not being cut off.
I've not so much as had a blip about copyright. I'm in the studio side on YouTube, and
So
I do have to apologize to anyone on Rumble though, because the Rumble stream crashed and it's never come back. So if there was anybody on Rumble, which there wasn't probably.
But remember what you did tonight, and do it again in other shows.
Except I'll do it harder and longer.
Yes, that's what she said.
So my number one, we're going to get to number one. Not that, I mean, I could play music all night. I could play every track he's done all night. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
So my number one Chris Rea song in this list is Stainsby Girls.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You know what I was reading as a French guy? Stains by Girls.
Stains by Girls.
That's what I read. I apologize. I'm a French guy.
Maybe that's what he meant. And yeah, live clips seem to be the way to go. I think. I've noticed that if you play the live clips, they tend to ignore you a little more. If you play the official music videos, they're going to kill you every time. Darius Munchausen, hail brother.
Hey, Darius.
Good to see you, buddy. Plus, I downloaded them all rather than playing them on YouTube, which I think helps a little bit too. It's too bit of a giveaway when you're playing something on YouTube.
And we got CC Karaoke also.
Oh,
keeping
CC
an eye on
Karaoke's
us.
here. You guys have missed 90% of the show, but I'm glad you're here nonetheless, because you're going to get the big finish, as the actress said to the bishop. So Shamrock Diaries is indeed the big winner tonight. Shamrock Diaries has got my top two tracks, and it's the first one, the top track for me being Stainsby Girls, which is another homage. Stainsby Girls, another homage to his youth, and it's actually a tribute to his wife Joan, who he's been with since 1968.
Imagine that.
I know. And his three daughters, he absolutely adores his wife and daughters. It's very rare in the rock world. That's why he doesn't you've never heard any tales of excess with this guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But she went to the Stainsby Secondary Modern School, high school. So so it's a tribute to him, first on Shamrock Diaries, and then recorded in a slightly different version, and a version I think I prefer on the new Light Through Old Windows compilation. I actually slightly prefer the version because it's got a little bit of bluesy guitar that isn't in the Shamrock Diaries version. When he mentions the Rolling Stones, he does a little like Stones riff. He does a Stonesy riff. We have a Stainsby Girl like the Rolling Stones. It's one of his more rock tracks. Made it to the top 30 in Britain, just. Big hit in Ireland, funnily enough. He had a lot of hits in Ireland. Maybe being Irish, half Irish helped, I don't know. Big hit in Belgium. And why,
really?
And why not? So let's play a little bit of Stainsby Girls. I'd love to play the new Light to Old Windows version, but we wouldn't get away with that. So I'm going to play a live version. Here we go. From, I think, the same show as we just had. The great Stainsby Girls. I love this. It makes me smile every time we hear it.
Bell.
They're all coming in now, and we're 2 hours 13 minutes in. You missed a lovely show. We're not done yet. Good to see you all. Thanks for joining.
More cowbell. Yeah.
The stains we put as the rolling stones.
Some of the games that you had to play, making rules
Along the way,
strange attractions, newly found, pride and passion kicked around. Some girls stole your heart like most girls do, but the stains we go break it into.
one big difference with the recorded version is there's a cascade of like 4 or 5 guitars in this bit behind them, multi-tracked, and it sounds beautiful.
I thought you were going to say it was more cowbell.
It needs more cowbell. It needs more slide guitar. And he's going to do it.
There we go.
Beautiful. Seriously underrated guitar player.
Oh yeah, for sure.
His guitar does look like the emoji. It's pink. As he called it, his pink classic or whatever. Was the Stones bit tricky.
Jumping Jack Flash?
Yeah, it's very Stonesy. Deliberately.
Got a ponytail.
I know.
How dare you?
How hip. It's so hip it hurts. The great Stainsby Girls. We played the entire song. We never get interrupted. It's someone's going to bed. It's D-Bud. Thanks for being here, buddy, and promoting.
Later, D-Bud.
Have a good night, my friend. It's always good to see you. So the great Stainsby Girls, which made it to #1 on my list. And as for you, sir,
Josephine.
Josephine, I'm ready for you now, or whatever he sings.
You know what? I was sitting this afternoon in my kitchen doing certain things, and I said to myself, this sounds like Brian Ferry if Brian Ferry had more skills, musical skills. I know, Davina, I know I'm blaspheming Brian Ferry.
Excoriated for that one.
I know, but but to me, he sounded like Roxy Music and Brian Ferry, but if Brian Ferry was a lot better.
No,
sorry, Joseph. Sorry, Davina.
I'm just gonna. I think we could try and play a little bit of
Lounge Vampire. Okay, well, that's one way of putting it.
I'm just trying to find a suitable clip of Josephine to play. Okay, this will do. It's live. We should get it. We're going to share this just because it's on your #1 and we have to share it.
Thank you.
I'm going to share the audio. We'll probably get echo.
No echo.
It might be fairly quiet. I don't know any way of boosting the volume on it. I'm afraid it's.
No, it's fine over here.
Yeah, good. This is from not that long ago, before he had to stop playing live. Beautiful song.
Yes.
Another Shamrock Diaries, of course.
I know, that's a big winner tonight.
Yeah, this is another one where he's done at least 3 versions. Is this la version française, though? That's what I want to know.
I don't think so.
No, he's singing in English.
No, but the words could be different.
Hey, Shelby.
Showing up late.
Shelby loves. Thank you, everyone, for coming in here. We're just playing our final choices of our top 10s. Being a sentimental chap, this is Christian's.
I have a hard side, but
Phrasing.
Oh. No, what are you kidding? It's hard all around.
Yeah. Well, remember the hit Sailing. I've never been a big Christopher Cross fan, although I've seen him in a couple of things where he was playing other people's stuff and he was really good. It's actually an underrated guitar player too.
Except you look like the bouncer or the doorman.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a version of this, a demo club version with Paul Oakenfold, the DJ, that remixed it, and he turned it into the version française, and they played it in Acid House things.
Oh yeah, at raves.
So there is a single, Josephine, la version française, and it's more upbeat dance version. So he plays with these songs. He does like 4 or 5 versions, which is neat. Beautiful song, yeah.
That's my number one.
I wonder about the La Version Française there. Let's see if we can call up a version of that quickly. We'll probably get
Later.
Well, we can play it. Maybe I don't know how much we'll get away with playing the audio. This is La Version Française. This will probably kill us.
Yes.
But you can hear it's upbeat. The guitar.
Caribbean vibe.
Yeah. Funky bass, so yeah. Acid House Lounge. They did similar thing to On the Beach, and a similar mixed vibe. No vocal. Yeah. There we go. It's nice. I actually don't have a copy of this version.
It's almost like Barry Manilow.
Wash your mouth out with soap. Get to the back of the class. Face the wall.
That's right.
Although, having said that, I'm going to sort of hide that right now. Sorry. Having said that, even Barry Manilow has a couple of songs I like. I mean, who couldn't like Mandy?
Yes. That's
You came
very nice.
and you saw and you came again, or whatever the hell it was.
Coco Cabana. That's what it sounded like.
And then he did a really good version of the Four Seasons. Let's hang on. Let's hang on to what we got. He had a good hit version of that because he's quite a good singer.
Now, did you guys have Band-Aid commercials back in the 80s, in the
We did.
70s and the 80s in
But
England?
they may well have been different though.
Yeah, because the song I'm Stuck on Band-Aid because Band-Aid Stuck on Me, that's a Barry Manilow song.
All right, yeah. I've actually walked past his house in Palm Springs many times, and I kind of always hoped to bump into him, but he wasn't walking around the streets on those days. But I've walked past his house in Palm Springs several times. He does live there, but it's not.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So as Danny said, this is a chill 80s song for cocaine and lovemaking. Does chill and cocaine go together though? I don't think so.
Or cocaine and lovemaking, is that really a good idea?
So King of the Beach, not a bad album, not one of my best, but there's nothing bad, and there's some good stuff in it. Shamrock Diaries, I mean, we've had 4 or 5 Shamrock Diaries tracks. Maybe I shouldn't have picked Auberge as my favorite album.
Hey, Pope Metallicus.
Oh, Pope, you've missed some of the groovy songs.
I have a funny feeling that was on purpose.
Yeah, Band-Aids in the UK. Are we talking about, when we talk Band-Aids, are we talking about roadies? Are we talking about the girls that follow the band around, or the
No.
kind of cut on your arm?
When you got a cut in your arm, you put the Band-Aid on?
Because Band-Aids are what they called the groupies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
we call them groupies.
So, that was. I think what we should do, if you agree, Christian, is that the opening video we played of Auberge, where he plays the extended opening.
Yes.
A lot of people have just joined.
Yes.
I think we should play that one more time before we think of wrapping up, just to let everyone hear the awesomeness of Chris Rea's guitar playing on that one track. Even Pope might enjoy it.
Yes, slide guitar.
Not metal, but it's certainly Delta blues. So I think we should play, and we'll let it roll into the rest of the song because I have the full video. I just cut that one off for the opening sequence. So what's Danny saying again? If you don't think cocaine and chill go together, you've never done cocaine. Good for you. Don't start now. Wise words indeed from our resident guru. So let's play from the track from our favourite album of ours, the title track. This is a live version with an extended Chris Rea kick-ass piece of guitar playing. For those who didn't know how good he was, you're about to find out. Those who were here from the beginning will have seen it, but screw it. We've got away with playing a lot of stuff tonight, so let's do it again. I got to find the right one, though, because I had an edited version. Let's try this one. This is it. Just me, or did that kick ass?
No, that gave me chills. I loved it.
Just shows how good a guitar player he was. Sorry. Can't say more.
This is the naked truth, and this is the light. There's only one place left to go. Give yourself one more break. You can tell by the look on his face that it just doesn't matter.
Yes, Band-Aids are called plasters in the UK, that's true. The brand is Band-Aid, but they're plasters.
There's only one place left to go.
Very good.
That is awesome. And I can still hear it playing in the background somewhere.
That's how good it is.
Awesome. I'm getting an echo. Sorry, everybody. I'm now echoing to myself.
And to me.
And to you. Sorry, everybody. I'm now echoing to myself. I'll try
hi,
again.
guys.
Is that better? I'm now echoing to myself. No, I'm still hearing a bunch of echo. I'll try again.
Guys.
Oh, no, I fixed it. Sorry. I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
That is such a good. That's an audience recording from God knows when. I mean, it might even have been early cell phone camera days. It's so old. I don't know what it was recorded on. It's like 1993 or something. Brilliant live version of Auberge. Great track from a great album. So I think we'll wrap it up, my friend.
Yes, we did a good one. 2 hours and 40 minutes almost.
Yeah,
Not one cut.
Too bad at all, did we? I've no doubt I'll be copyright struck to hell and back. Well, claimed. I don't mind claims. It's quite rightly claim them. But we got away without any interruptions, which was good. That was brilliant. I can only say that if Chris Rea or anybody connected to him ever stumbles across this stream, I'd like to thank you for all those decades of music, sir. I've appreciated them all. It's been a big part of my life since the late 70s, listening to your songs. Lucky enough to see you live once. Still, to this day, I play your records all the time. So thank you, sir. And, long may you continue to be with us, and hope you get over some of your current health problems and continue to be able to make music. So,
very well said.
Indeed. It's what it's all about. We love this stuff, and we gotta cherish these guys when they're still with us. Christian, my dear friend, I will stop sharing that. What? I know you've got some exciting things happening soon, so tell us about those.
Well, finally, thanks. We got Pope Metallicus here. Man, I must thank you, because he's the one who gave me the faith, and he gave me also the motivation to start my own channel. So if everything goes good, I'll do my inaugural stream maybe this Saturday or next Saturday next week. Should be on a Saturday, and I'll start playing. The channel is called Vinyl Revival, and it's basically music from my vault or my storage. All the albums I've been accumulating since the age of 13. And being a music lover, it's not just rock or metal, it's jazz, it's big band, it's Mozart, it's everything. So that's what I'm finally trying. The only problem is technical difficulties. I'm the difficulty. So anyway.
Well, I did put a link to your channel in the description of the show.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm going to post it again here if you just give me a few seconds. But really, thanks for being here, mate.
I love these. We should do these every week. Even if you don't do It's Only Talk and Roll, we should do bonus tracks every week. I would be game for that.
And I do I'm going to call these extra shows bonus tracks. I think it's a great way of describing them. It's Only Talk and Roll bonus tracks. I'd love to do them every week. The prep takes a little bit of time, though. So domestic pressures are that perhaps these should only be occasional shows. Well, it's like...
What it does, you know what? The best shows, it's not how we look, it's what we give. So to me, we brought Chris Rea to the public tonight.
We did
something wonderful.
Even if a handful of people and Davina absolutely knew all about him, but if a handful of others didn't, and they've learned something now, then that's great, because that's what it's all about, sharing what we love and sharing the music. And I've found your channel. And I'm now just about to copy that and stick that link in there, because I need to be there for your inaugural.
Yes,
sir.
You, Pope, and Nick Weiser.
Yes, so that will be awesome. You've been a fantastic supporter to all of us and a great contributor to our shows. So looking forward to paying it back, my friend.
mind you, what I'd like to do is, and I apologize, Davina, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot. I really think you should join our group as an executive producer. Just the
I'm
fill-ins and
sorry,
stuff
I
like
don't
that.
speak French. Could you say that again? No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Hey, I'm drinking this stuff.
Moutsi anglais, tabernacle. That's all I heard.
I should sound Scottish by now.
Yeah, check it, producer. I don't know, mate. I'm certainly happy to join your stream, but you can always, I can always do a bit of this and that. Yes.
No, not you. You misunderstood. I would like to bring in Davina in with us.
Davina should be
on bonus tracks.
She's the bonus.
She would be the fill-in. She would have the.
I don't
there
know
would be no echoes.
With her awesomeness, though. I mean,
there we go. She could prep.
And they do. I actually spent, I don't know, 5 or 6, technical problems aside, fixing some of those, and I've still got a couple. I did probably do about 5 or 6 hours just to prepare this show, downloading videos, finding images, doing a little bit of bookmarking of info, playing music. I enjoy doing that, but they do take a little time, and this is why I try to keep the bonus tracks ones a little more. Like, I've got to start prepping for Monday now for the Cheap Trick.
Right.
Show.
But mind you, 70s, let me practice being a host. What do you got coming down the line? 70s? What do you want to pimp?
Well, I don't know. All I know is that tonight, despite putting on what was a lovely show, I appear to have lost 2 subscribers.
Oh,
since we started this show, so it's a negative. There's a negative effect.
Pulp Metallicus and Nick Weiser.
I lost a couple of subscribers somewhere. Well, I got a video that I attempted to record twice today, and the audio was all screwed up, which is why I've had to spend hours fixing audio. I'm going to try and get it out tomorrow. I will be doing a series of videos about things I'm looking forward to in 2023, movies and TV. The first one is about a Korean movie called Phantom, which was released in Korea today. So I've got a video prepped to go there, other than the fact I've got to re-record my speaking bit because it sounded like I was speaking in a cave with someone banging on the wall behind me. Maybe that's better. I don't know. I could.
No, I doubt it.
So that'll be the first in a series of those. Korean movie called Phantom, not to be confused with the 18 other movies called Phantom that have been released in the past. This is the 2023 Korean one. Go check the trailer. It looks really good. And then another one on the Indian movie Pathan, which is coming out January 25th, and one which I will be able to go to the cinema near here to see on January 25th. Shah Rukh Khan action thriller called Pathan that is going to kick several asses at once. So a video on that is in the works, and probably tomorrow, I don't know, I just got stuff. Anyway, next Monday, forgetting about anything I may have between now and next Monday in terms of live shows, and there probably are some I've forgotten about. Midnight Session After Dark, usually. Monday, it's only Talk and Roll. 3 p.m. Mountain Time. It is Robin Zander's birthday on Monday. Therefore, we're going to have a Cheap Trick special.
Okay.
So it will be all about Cheap Trick, a copyright busting show, I'm sure, because I want to do music. Cheap Trick are one of my 5 favorite bands of all time. I've seen them God knows how many times in concert. I've met them. I got memorabilia up the yin yang. I've got every album in some format or another, even the more obscure, not so good late 80s ones and 90s ones. There's always a good track on there somewhere. So I absolutely adore Cheap Trick. So I'm really looking forward to that show, I guess. It'll be fun. They're always fun.
Yes.
And I'm still working on finalizing it, but penciling in the following Monday for our round 2 on Canon films with Touchwood, Razor Fist again, Tom Connors again, and also the guy that wrote the Canon movie guides, may be there. So that will be kick-ass if it happens. If not, we are working to schedule a date that suits everybody's diaries. So that's something to look forward to too. So.
And that'd be great for me. I can drop a few more of my Chuck Norris jokes.
You can. Well, we're gonna. I mean, actually, because the last Canon one was so good, I'm gonna try and there's so much. We're gonna maybe just make it about ninjas this time. So
okay,
is Chuck in a ninja one? He does martial arts.
And then Charles Bronson, and then Chuck Norris. And
were any of them called ninja that he was in? I can't remember, but ninja adjacent. So we might talk about Chuck.
Maybe.
Yeah. So.
Well, sir, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for doing these.
Oh, no problem. I enjoyed every second of it tonight. It was awesome. I would like to thank everyone that's been in the chat. Davina, you're an absolute star. Thank you for all your comments. We had Shelby here. Great to see you, Shelby. Some guy called Darius Munchausen, who I think he's just a living avatar. That's all he is, really. He's an avatar for a YouTuber. He is my great buddy, my brother, Darius. Love you, brother. Just another red shirt. Another great friend. Top man. Pope Metallicus. Brother. Eager. Mr. CCDV. Awesome to see you. Bush made it in. Great to see you, Bush. We always love to see Bush.
Yeah, and he's a great cook too. You should see him on Gilded.
Indeed. Send me some food because, save me cooking. Save us, me and the wife cooking. We're getting old, and that stuff's hard.
And we Canadians see winter batting.
Yeah, well, exactly. Gotta bump it up. I had a Swiss chalet pie tonight that we had in the freezer. I said, screw it, I've not got time to do anything. So I stuck that in the oven and had that. That's
only good with lots of thick brown gravy.
I had the home style gravy.
Ah, perfect. That works too.
Yeah. If I'm missing anybody, forgive me. At CC Karaoke, I'm trying to work my way back up.
There was Shelby.
We got... you're all great, and if forgive me, D-Bird Martin was here. I know Snowdub popped in and out. Good to see Snowdub. He's such a great guy. If I didn't catch anybody, you have my deepest apologies. But as for you being here,
you have our gratitude.
Very well said.
And don't forget,
it's the quickening.
Hey, what about my favorite clip?
Oh, which one's that?
The goaltender.
Oh, right, yeah. One more.
Kamikaze.
Once more into the breach, and I'll play this because I'm upset the Dallas Stars lost tonight while we were doing the shows.
I love it. That's funny.
We're doomed. I got loads of these, but and I was trying to get the audio to work. I don't know if we can hear these, but can you hear anything?
Yes, bagpipes.
The pipes. That was just for you.
Thank you. Well, hey, this is for you, my friend.
Macallan and the great Scottish My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean. Finally got these to work.
Oh, good for you.
That's what their reply was. When I got them.
What, for the McCallum?
My sound problems have been big today, but I finally got those to work. Anyway, enough of that. I'm just going. Thanks again to everybody for being here. Please go check out Chris Rea and his marvelous oeuvre. There
we go. You said it perfectly there.
He is a great guy, and he's a survivor of rock with everything he's gone through. But he's made some of the greatest tunes ever. So till next time, everybody. Thank you and good night. I hope you all have a great night, and keep on rocking. End stream.